the blockchain from scratch to bring a 1000x improvement in throughput, execution speed, and transaction cost.
1000x?
Yes. And this is very, very important because we've had blockchains since 10 years ago, but the current versions we've had are much like the dial-up version of the internet. So right now, with the version we've built with Elrond, we'll finally be able to transition from dial-up to broadband and use this type of technology at the scale that has never been done before. And the second component that we think will be necessary to see a kind of global scale adoption will be a user interface that uses what we've built with the underlying architecture and simplifies user experience to such an extent that my mother and grandmother will be able to use this technology. The whole point is that people will not know that they will use blockchain. Much like when they use the email right now, they don't know that they use the SMTP protocol. Nobody cares about that. The fact is that we've built the underlying network that essentially allows this kind of transfer at an internet scale. This is why we call Elrond the internet scale blockchain. And then secondly, we understand that no matter how performant the technology is, unless we solve the user experience problem, we'll not be able to achieve anything.
So what are the first applications of Elrond?
Elrond is the basis on which we'll build the maximally efficient and useful version of money. And what I mean by this is that we'll finally have a version of money which can be transferred globally in an instant and at a negligible cost. And all I've said until now can be basically verified. We've been building Elrond for the last 2 years. The code is open source. Anyone who has the technical know-how can look at the code and see the progress we've made and the breakthroughs we're bringing to market.
Tell me, how close is blockchain to mainstream adoption, like the internet?
The easiest way to clarify what we've built is to look at the early days of the internet. If you look at the internet, essentially it's a network of various protocols. At first, the internet was just for geeks and different universities. So these people would send some information, but in a very, very difficult form. Only the programmers would be able to use it. But the internet changed dramatically with two important sort of breakthroughs. The first one was the browser, which opened the internet to everyone. If you could point and click, at that point the internet finally made sense to you, you could use it. And secondly, we've not seen the internet really take off until we had the transition from dial-up to broadband. So with Elrond, we've been working for more than 2 years right now on this radical breakthrough that we've brought at the network layer, the backend, as you mentioned, and this is now very, very close to what we call the Genesis launch. So the point where all this becomes live and it will be able to be used globally. But then in addition to this, we've also worked very, very hard to simplify the user experience and make it in such a way that the whole technology part becomes invisible and the user can focus on his benefits.
In which industries do you think we will see the biggest impact of this new technology?
I think that the most important applications will be seen in the money and payments area. Just because the blockchain part has been invented with Bitcoin, and the second major version was Ethereum. These were the most important applications, and for many years people did not even understand the underlying technology of Bitcoin. Now, the problem with Bitcoin and Ethereum, despite their enormous contribution, is that at this point you can process something like 5 to 7 transactions per second, and in Ethereum about 15 transactions per second. Now, I may be extremely excited about them, but if the whole world can process only 7 transactions per second or 15, that's a toy. An interesting toy, but a toy nonetheless. So what we've done with Elrond is focus on what is needed so that the technology will be able to be used from day one.
So what's the immediate benefit of democratizing and accelerating blockchain technology?
Ideally, this is the point where cryptocurrencies or digital currencies will become indistinguishable from the normal currencies. Okay. Because if you can use them anywhere to buy, to send money, and to store your money, much like what you use in the real world, with the benefit that this is much easier to be used, it doesn't lose so much value through inflation and so forth, at that point, you'll probably start thinking about this old money as something that is much more fictional than the cryptocurrencies. So at first, obviously, on Elrond, we have a cryptocurrency called ERD. This is the one with which we power the whole ecosystem. Second, we will probably have very soon a stable coin so that people can use this technology without having to rely on the fluctuations that are and happen normally in this type of markets. So the moment you have this utility and have a stable coin that is pegged to the dollar or to the euro, at that point you don't care about the normal stuff.
Tell me, is Elrond strong enough to build a new internet scale blockchain?
I started Elrond at the end of 2017, and we have 2 co-founders, my brother and Lucian Todia, both of them entrepreneurs with technical background, myself as well. I've been in the blockchain space for more than 5 years right now, but even more important, we've started with 9 people that are extremely talented and part of the core team. Each of them comes with deep technical background at some of the most important technical companies in the world, like Google, Microsoft, NTT, IBM, and so forth. And also come with PhDs in design and space exploration, AI. In addition to this, we've got already funding from some of the most important funds in Silicon Valley, in Asia and Europe, and a lot of other funds are already contacting us to prepare for perhaps a new funding round and so forth. But in short, we've got a team with which we can build rockets and are working day and night to bring this technology to the market.
So how can we verify the claims and progress of Elrond?
We've published a technical paper that outlines the whole architecture. You can basically go through the whole math stuff, the components, and see how they fit together. But even more important, we've released the whole code, which is open source. The code is running right now, it's tested with a few hundreds validators from the community from all over the world that are trying to stress test the network, penetrate it, hack it, and so forth. So first, everyone can judge from this for themselves through the paper, and then second, everyone can look at the code and see the components that are there and see how it works. So it's pretty straightforward.
What are the next important milestones?
The most important milestone is the launch. As I have mentioned, we have the launch, the Genesis launch, it's called, because the whole network has been in a kind of very in-depth stress testing phase. We've done some very important security and economics audits right now with a few companies that have done security audits for Apple, NASA, and DARPA. And right at this point, we are basically testing the final versions that need to go out in order for us to be able to launch the Genesis. This is the first step, and then with the Genesis, we also want to come out with this surprise user interface that we've not discussed about, and we can't wait to see how the community will react.
How can people make money with Elrond?
The important part is they should only risk what they can afford to lose. This is a very, very high potential technology, but it's still at the inception point. Second, if they understand that this is a high potential technology and they have a measured risk, then they can start looking at the technology. It's basically in the open. They can Google elrond.com. They'll see all the information there. And the most important thing is that if you look at the blockchain space as you looked at the internet, and remember that at some point at the beginning, a lot of people said that the internet would not amount to anything. It's looking back, it's sort of very, very surprising. I believe we're in the same spot with blockchain. And once it takes off, most people will be extremely surprised. But right now, they can experiment with different stuff, Google it, and I think every smart man that has a net worth, which is significant, should probably have 1, 2, or 3% to get exposure to the crypto space. Elrond is already listed on the largest cryptocurrency exchange in the world, which is called Binance.
Are there any dangers or risks associated with this technology?
The danger is there, but it's important to get some small exposure at least, to learn a bit and then discover more. This is how you essentially take away the irrational fears that you sort of have. But moving one step further, I think there's a lot of good that has come through technology, and this is the overarching theme. We might get stressed out from time to time because sometimes things don't work out as we expect, but this has happened throughout history many, many times. At the end of the day, a lot of energy and effort is being put to make things work in the right way, and we'll try to do to the best of our abilities to do the same with Elrond.
And my last one, what's your vision for the future?
The vision, that's the reasoning for all this work, is that ultimately we want to give anyone, anywhere, easy access to this digital economy. If people have access to a kind of banking in their pockets, at that point the world will change dramatically for the better.
So people guys buy in the arrow, man. Shit. Look like it's doing good.
Well, hello there. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Atlas. We're back with another episode looking
Shout
at
out
another
to Atlas,
cryptocurrency.
YouTube.
In today's episode, we are
YouTuber.
focusing on Elrond, aka ERD. Today's date is January 17th, 2020. The time is 6:18 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Taking a look on the CoinMarketCap side here, we can see Elrond being listed at less than 1 cent, or 0.001621 United States dollars, with a 1.51% change. We'll be coming back to this in a minute, but first we have to ask the big question: what is Elrond? If we head over to elrond.com, which I will be including a link to in the description down below as always, so if you wish to do more research on this, which I highly encourage you to do so, you're able to do so. According to the website, they describe this as the following. What is Elrond? Elrond is a high-throughput public blockchain focused on providing security, efficiency, scalability, and interoperability by employing two key elements: adaptive state sharding and a new secure proof-of-stake consensus mechanism. Value proposition. Elrond's goal is to be a high-throughput, fast transaction speed, and low transaction cost platform, allowing efficient and competitive DApp user experiences in real-world use cases. Elrond believes that its high scalability, fast transaction speed, and low transaction cost makes it well-suited for machine-to-machine transactions and the IoT economy. Key features. Elrond is a complete redesign of blockchain
Cuma
architecture with the
later.
aim to achieve global scalability and near-instant transaction speed. Elrond focuses on combining three key innovations: adaptive state sharding, transaction, data, and network sharding, plus shard merges and shard splits in real time. Secure proof of stake, stake for Sybil prevention, plus random reshuffling of the consensus group, plus fast BFT-like consensus. Formerly verified VM and smart contracts on sharded architecture with balanced nodes on shards. Additionally, we have consensus in 2 communication rounds with modified BLS multi-signatures, security with 99% malicious actors using Fisherman Challenge, secure randomness beacon with BLS signing, low system requirements, testnet live exceeding 12,000 plus transactions per second with just 5 shards. They have a roadmap listed here as well, and a distribution chart for their ERD token, their token model, as well as a background on their team and who they are partnered with, such as Nash, Natopia, Typing DNA, Smart Bill, and Distributed Systems Research Laboratory, DSRL. Heading back over to the CoinMarketCap side here, they have a little bit of a description. We will also be reading this for you guys. Elrond describes itself as a new blockchain architecture designed to bring a 1,000-fold cumulative improvement in throughput and execution speed. To achieve this, Elrond introduces 2 features: adaptive state sharding mechanism and a proof-of-stake POS algorithm, enabling linear scalability with a reportedly fast, efficient, and secure Elrond in green, Bitcoin in gold, and 0.001342 United States dollars. All-time high was earlier the same year on July 14, 2019 at 0.007524 United States dollars. Market rank as of the time of this video is number 183 on the list. Elrond's return on investment at 149.45%.
So I can still go back up.
Market capitalization over $13.7 million. Volume in the last 24 hours over $2.7 million. Circulating supply 8,480,557,005 ERD, and a total supply of 20 billion ERD. As far as the sources working with Elrond, aka ERD, as of the time of the video, we have 7 being listed here. Sources and pairs are intertwined. Sources include Binance, Bilaxi, BitMax, and Binance Dex. That does it for this coverage of the Elrond, aka ERD. Feel free to let us know what your guys' thoughts and opinions are in the comments down below. Do you feel that this has a promising future? Do you feel that this is going to fall flat on its face? Do you feel this is better or worse than another cryptocurrency? Do you have any price predictions? Let us know down below. And if you enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like. It would be greatly appreciated. And if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. We're covering a lot of different cryptocurrencies, as well as doing tutorials, how-to guides, glossary terms, and covering
24. This is doing good. Oh shit. Trade Crypto Live.
Elrond is a project with just under $13 million in a market cap. They have pretty good volume for a coin that's really not very well spread out. You're looking at Binance and BitMax. That's about it. Now, you do have the Binance decentralized exchange for the Americans to be able to access. I think you can get into BitMax too, and I'm pretty sure Bilaxi works down there, but your liquidity on those two is pretty poor. So not always accessible for everybody, but this coin is really, really moving and making some waves right now. And we're going to talk about why. So Elrond itself classifies itself as an internet scale blockchain. Those are big words. It's only 4 words, but most of them are pretty big. Internet scale blockchain, very scalable. To become involved with Elrond as a business with no blockchain experience, it's also relatively easy to build on top of. They use multiple different technologies to allow for their scaling, which also give them some options for additional security.
Oh, it is new.
Now, everybody likes staking these days. We talk a lot about decentralized finance and staking. They have a calculator built right in at the top of their page for staking, and they are one of the highest as far as percentage that you get back in return for staking on their network. Now, the interesting thing is that Elrond doesn't have their mainnet launched yet. Their staking is taking off. They're one of the fastest movers today on April 25th, with about 16% move on the books. And if you take a quick look over here, they're up 62% in the last 30 days. So pretty dramatic move. One of the top movers just in the last 30 days. If we move into what else they're talking about, we talked about how easily they are to develop on. They really put it out in some very cut and dry steps, making it very, very easy to tailor solutions to each business and deliver the product that they want on the end. And they have multiple different partners. And these aren't the most dramatic, the most kind of eye-opening partnerships. But when I see something like this, I'm confident. Chainlink is obviously huge right now. Nash is an exchange based on, used to be based on the Neo blockchain, and they have their NEX token. Then Matic obviously was also a IEO on Binance, which Elrond was as well. And then the Trusted IoT Alliance. That sounds very official. So I hopped over there, took a look at their membership directory. There's Elrond, and wow, there are some big names in this alliance. They're in more than one alliance. This is just one of the primary ones that they got into very, very early on with the acceptance of the type of product they're putting forward. There is a huge demand for scalable blockchain technology with as much security as possible, and they're one of the few that's really going to be able to deliver it, it looks like. So we're waiting on a mainnet, as I said, and we haven't talked exactly about what it is, really. But that high throughput public blockchain focused on providing security, efficiency, scalability, and interoperability by employing two key elements. And these are the primary drivers of the Elrond ecosystem: adaptive state sharding and a new secure proof of stake consensus mechanism. And both of these things are very, very important. Sharding as a technology is something that Ethereum is looking into. Zilliqa was one of the first to launch with on a mainnet, and it is a way of splitting up the data and making it process faster over a wider range. This also offers you a lot of options in how that data is switched, and that's where they get into the shard merges and the shard splits in real time. And this effectively gives them a lot more security as well as scalability at the same time. Now, their secure proof of stake is a little bit different because proof of stake has notoriously been quite unsecure, and that's been a major issue in this space. And so they combined a couple different things to make it far more secure: a stake for Sybil prevention, random reshuffling of the consensus group, and fast BFT-like consensus. So a lot of novel technology here, some stuff that they created themselves. The team behind this project are above and beyond most other blockchain teams. They have a wealth of technical experience in the space and in traditional technology. So this is a huge opportunity for them to kind of stretch their legs and really kind of put it all out there. And it really feels like they've done that with Elrond. Now, on their testnet, they talk about 12,000 transactions per second with just 5 shards. That's quite remarkable. That is a huge, huge step out. Now, in their updated roadmap, they're only just getting into 2020. In the first quarter of 2020, launching the Elrond decentralized exchange. Next up is their mainnet, their full mainnet. You see they had a mainnet launch in Q4, and now we are into the token distribution. And we have a huge amount of opportunity around this project. The Launchpad sale took 25% of the total token distribution. The private sale had another 19. The team gets 19, and as you can see, the reserves have a good chunk. There is not much left to be distributed. The total supply of Elrond should be about 20 billion tokens. And in the circulating supply, we're almost at 50% distributed already. So there will be a little bit of saturation of that over the coming years. But as a token in an environment like this, that's not too bad, actually. So we have some some stable token economics there. Now, as we said, Elrond was launched on Binance with an IEO. Their initial issuing price was 0.00065 US dollars, and they are up since launching. They are above their IEO price currently. So if we take a quick look at it, they raised a good chunk of change during their sale, and you're 2 times up in US dollars, 3 times in Ethereum, almost 3 times in Bitcoin, and that's pretty awesome. So we've already talked about the team as well, so let's get into some of what they're actually doing today. After this sale, the hype around Elrond really kind of dropped off. They get a lot of support from Binance, having been launched on the platform, been bought with Binance Coin. But the biggest parts about the Elrond ecosystem are not just its speed and accessibility, but also its ability to stimulate interest from investors and traders. And a lot of that has to do with the staking. Now, outside of that, how is their technology going to be used? Well, Binance is doubling into Elrond, saying that they're going to take their BUSD stablecoin and launch it on Elrond's mainnet as the primary stablecoin for the Elrond mainnet. If that's not a lot of back in this industry, I don't know what is. Binance is the #1 in this space, and to see them taking their token and backing it on the Elrond network, of all of the options that they've had for platforms with scaling and security, it's quite remarkable to see this move to what is currently a pretty small project. Now, their Binance stablecoin BUSD is based on Paxos, and that's the Pax stablecoin. So they've brought them in to back that coin, and basically are kind of the middleman between the stablecoin itself, the regulators, and Binance, giving them a little bit of a buffer and allowing their coin to reach more places. So this is huge news, and this is brand new for Elrond. So Elrond is looking at moving in with Binance in a major way, and that is going to be a huge step forward for them. In addition to that, another partnership that we didn't see on the main website was their partnership with Samsung. Samsung blockchain phones
important
set to feature Elrond's project's gaming app. So with such speeds and such utility on Elrond, it's not surprising to realize that they've got their own gaming app. And this is actually going to be set to launch on the Samsung phones. It will be registered, acknowledged, and this also allows Elrond into the ecosystem that Samsung is very actively building with their Samsung KeepKey wallet, or sorry, not KeepKey wallet, their blockchain wallet. KeepKey is not Samsung based, but this really gives them a huge platform to try to expand their gaming options and their gaming influence. And it's not fully launched. As I said, the mainnet is not fully launched, but they are looking at launching it over 3 phases through 2020. We got kind of the first phase back in 2019. And this is going to be a huge opportunity for Elrond to show what it can really do across its own mainnet instead of just on the Binance chain, which is where they initially launched. They're also involved with Ethereum and several other major projects. But these 2 partnerships alone, combined with their other associates, we'll call them, and their other partnerships that have been outlined here, really sets them up for a huge amount of success with such a quality project, with so much speed and security behind it in a really unique technology. They're really getting noticed, and I think it's one to keep an eye on. As I said, it's been moving and shaking today, so we've seen some moves over the last 30 days or so with Elrond, but we're going to see a lot more from them in the near future. And as their mainnet launches, we've all seen how those mainnets typically go. You get a good little push from those as well. And that's going to be one to watch. It's very high on the list of projects I'm watching in 2020. So if you're not following us yet, TCL Fire Pit on Twitter, and be sure to drop in for some of the free resources on the website. That's it for me. I'm T.I. Noggs with TCLeducation.com, signing off.
Good morning. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Bullish Network.
Bullish Network.
Guys, today is called ERD Elrond.
Let's check
Stick
it out.
around and you will see
What's he
why,
talking
guys.
about?
I actually did one hell of a rabbit hole on this video. First thing first is I am not a financial advisor. I am just documenting my journey on the Internet of Value. But the token we're going to talk about is Elroy, ERD. Breaking: the Elroy mainnet will launch with Binance BUSD as the first stablecoin. Transferring it will be fast and inexpensive as a native ERD. Thrilled to announce the collaboration. So from right there, we got Binance is basically promoting Elroy ERD token. So basically, if you guys recall, Binance USD stablecoin pleases tough New York regulators. So we already got a approved token by the New York Department of Financial Services have approved the BUSD, which Binance BUSD backed stablecoin BUSD has received approval from the notoriously stringent New York regulatory body, the New York State Department of Financial Services. The USD backed stablecoin is directly tied to the United States dollar 1-to-1 ratio and provides users a chance to digitize their money. So this is pretty huge now that Binance is saying they're tying their token to the Elroy token. But guys, what I'm here to tell you is I've been working on an initiative here on the show. I told you guys pretty much here is the Binance. How is the Binance family doing? So how is the Binance family doing? This is the Binance tokens that have launched on the Binance platform. Now, just to explain a little bit about that, if I go back one really quick, I just want to show you guys. Okay, so Binance launches DEX testnets. So pretty much to explain, guys, is at one time there was ICOs, which were initial coin offerings. That's where projects were launching projects and they were having, raising money through initial coin offerings. What I'm saying, this is pretty similar, but they call this exchange token offerings, where Binance Launchpad launches these projects, but they're already launched. They're already available through Binance and through other sources. We'll work on those. But Binance Launchpad launches. They launched WazorX, which was the Indian token right here. Troy. They launched the Kava token. Wink, which was through Justin Sun. They also launched Matic, which we've talked about. Harmony and Cellular. One thing is about the Internet of Value is, as this being a new asset class, Morgan Stanley report says crypto now institutional. Morgan Stanley report says crypto now institutional asset class. So basically, crypto is a new asset class. How crypto will grow into an institution asset class. Why crypto asset management is the next big thing. So you guys understand what we're dealing with, the Internet of Value. So what I believe if we, keep a close eye on these projects at the birth, we'll be able to get one hell of a deal on these projects. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, so what I said I was going to do is I was going to dissect every project on this right here on the Binance launch tokens, because I truly believe out of all these tokens, I believe there's going to be some big winners in here. Like for example, Wink. I'm not too sure about Wink. That's a Justin Sun token. BitTorrent, Justin Sun token. I probably wouldn't waste my time, in my opinion. I'm gonna have to go on the Brad Garlinghouse theory, where Peanut Butter Manifesto, he came out with Tron and then BitTorrent and Wink and just so many projects. He's stretching himself too thin. Is he trying to take advantage of just launching tokens? But anyway, the token we're going to focus on today is Elroy. Now, the Elroy mainnet will launch with Binance BUSD stablecoin. Clearly, you guys see Binance USD stable pleases tough New York regulators, which I've always said, guys, CZ is a made man now. CZ has approval through New York Department of Financial Services. They got Crypto Kali from Ripple running Binance US, which is a regulated US exchange. BUSD, Binance USD backed stablecoin approved by New York Department of Financial Services and tied to this token I'm going to talk about today. So, you guys see the power it has there. the new asset class. You see, guys, we're going to break down all these projects. We're going to look for some hidden gems. Now, how is the Binance family doing? This is where the rabbit hole starts. So basically, as we go back here, I'm actually going to start right from the top on this one. So basically, guys, we got Elroy Network will integrate Chainlink. So also, I noticed now there's a partnership with Chainlink. ERD will integrate Chainlink. Bullish Network may top pick. Well, guys, you know I have been pretty good at picking winners. I actually called Tezos at 34 cents. It's $3 right now. But I'm looking for the gems like these that are still 0.00s, because, you know, if we get in at this time, I believe, and you hodl this for, it could be a year, it could be two, I'll be honest. But my belief is if we get early in on these projects, I believe there's massive potential. Could be next week. We are very excited to announce that everyone will integrate Chainlink right there. So we go back farther right here. The next thing is I took a screenshot of the price just to show you guys. You can get it at 0.007, which is a very good price. So far, actually, I think it's pumping 12%. 12% right there. Now, what else is interesting, guys, is basically when a project is actually launched on Binance. So already you're going to have basically, it's going to be like Binance's baby. This project launched on Binance. Of course, they will not want to see one of their projects fail or look bad, because that reflects on Binance. So Elron ERD Binance research paper. Pretty much Binance has Binance research on Twitter where they actually dissect the project. If you guys want to look a little bit more into that, I will leave all this link in the description on this. What else is interesting is passive income on Binance, the future of finance. CZ, love it. Now what it is Elrond. The custom Binance savings product for ERD is going live in 24 hours. So already they have created a mind-blowing interest earning account for ERD. Now this is on Binance through CZ. You know, guys, you got to understand who we're dealing with here. We're not dealing with, you know, some smaller exchanges or, you know, some no names. We're connecting these tokens to regulation and BUSD, and the custom Binance savings product for ERD is going live in 2 hours. 10%, 12% APR, 7 and 14-day deposit. First come, first served basis. And we will talk more about that in one moment. I apologize about that. Put that on silent. So now it's capped at 150 million tokens, so you can't put more than 150 million in there. Of course, I'm in there on that right there. So basically, if you go back really quick, guys. So this is amazing right here too, guys. This is why I said passive income, because the thing is, if you're going to be in crypto for a while, like I plan to be, of course, you know, I'm going to look for programs like this too, where, you know, through the ups and downs of the bear market, I can hodl. I'm going to still earn interest on my crypto, you know, through an exchange I can trust, which is the biggest part also. Now, staking and baking. Here is the CEO of Elron. I did look him up. I like to make sure they're active on Twitter. Elron saving program on Binance is starting soon. He's promoting the savings program right here, a custom Binance saving product on ERD to go live in 2 hours. Just think of him just like, wow, I'm promoting my token through Binance. So that's amazing right there. Next one right here, Binance adds ERD for 7 to 14 days, 10%. So this one's the actual tweet from Binance. Yeah, Binance right there. Now this is really interesting right here. This is the CEO, Ben, right here. Super excited to announce our Samsung blockchain app Battle Elrond, a mobile multiplayer game where you fight your enemies to capture their crypto treasure. I think I'll actually download that and give it a try. And actually see guys building useful mobile apps with just a hint of blockchain technology. Basically, I think I'll actually download that and give it a try. And actually see guys building useful mobile apps with just a hint of blockchain technology. Basically, he's pretty bullish on this, and I'll link all this in the description. Battle of Elrond. But this is more than just a gaming token, guys. I'm going to show you that. This is just, you know, the options are endless. Super excited to announce our Samsung. Of course, I said Elroy launched on Binance. Binance wants to see its baby grow. I'm all in. Breaking news, Elroy mainnet will launch on Binance BUSD. We just covered that one right there. What else we got here? Last week, Binance to deploy its BUSD stablecoin on Elroy. So And this is really interesting too. We're gonna go in that in 1 second right here. So once I go to Binance, which one was it? The research one. And that's actually gonna be about. Okay, we're gonna go maybe to this one right here. Was it this? Okay, so this gives you a little bit more about the token right here. And I wanted to show you guys, Elrond is a high throughput blockchain focused on providing security, efficiency, and scalability and interoperability by employing two elements: adaptive state sharding and new secure proof of stake consensus mechanism. So it's state sharding, transaction data, and network key features. There's a few things I wanted to show you. I'm just going to try to remember on which one it was. Okay, this is the one right here. Good. Binance and Elrond have entered into agreement which will make Binance-backed BUS stablecoin available on the Elrond network. The corporation between the leading provider of services in the crypto space and the first blockchain with a working state sharding architect will enable fast and inexpensive stablecoin transactions thanks to Elrond's high throughput processing capacity. With BUSD circulating supply nearly $200 million, BUSD has been the fastest growing stablecoin in the cryptocurrency space in 2020. This integration will expose Binance BUSD to a broader user base who will be able to exchange value at high speed and negligible cost on Elrond's main net. So interesting. So high speed, very low cost on Elrond's main net. What's interesting here is BUSD will use Elrond's standard digital token model, which makes token transfers as fast and inexpensive as the native protocol coin. By comparison, other chains require calling smart contracts and spending additional gas every time the token is transferred. This innovation enables the existing DeFi scenario to run on Elrond's at increased speed and lower cost. Now, involving BUSD, don't make me go back to this, Binance USD stablecoin pleases tough New York regulators. Binance BUSD, which I just paired to Elrond. And also, guys, you see that it's also tied to Chainlink. We're very excited to announce Elrond Network will integrate with Chainlink. So basically, I guess I'll show you guys one more thing really quick. And this is kind of just a quick example of, what I go through when I'm doing research on a token, kind of like maybe up close and personal, everything I do and what I research and what I read. And then, of course, guys, if you want to go to CoinMarketCap or Live Coin Watch, whatever you